Hi YouTube, I'm back and I'm here today to do a somewhat requested video. One of my subscribers, her name is, hopefully I'm not saying this wrong, Coben Zambro, I'll put it down here. But she had requested during one of my Valentine's looks that I do another tutorial or more tutorials from the Coastal Scents 88 Metal Manias palette. And this is one of my favorite palettes. As you can see, it is well loved and well used. Like, mine is completely filthy. So I have a lot of looks from this palette that I do, but this is one of my all-time favorites. So here's a close-up of the look I'm talking about. Okay, here. It's just a brown and purple smoky eye. Really, really simple. Not too crazy. There's some purple liner underneath and a really gorgeous bright highlight. So that's the look. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, so I thought I would share it with you. And I promise that I will do some more looks from my Metal Mania palette in the near future. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start off by priming our eye, and I'm going to use Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. And you definitely want to use a primer when you do this look, because the shadows in this palette are very soft and they can crease throughout the day if you don't have something down. You don't have to use Painterly, use what you have, but I definitely recommend putting down some sort of a primer or a base. Next, I'm going to be taking my highlight color. Now, mine just broke. I have to get a new one. I dropped it, but this is a Wet n Wild color, and it's just a little single color, and this is in the color Brulee. It's a great dupe for MAC's Brulee. If you have MAC Brulee, just go ahead and use that. I'm going to take it on a larger kind of dome-shaped brush, and I'm going to put that as my highlight, because we're going to be using a lot of shimmery colors with the Metal Manias, so we definitely need to have a highlight color that is not too shiny. And I like to really take that down, you can see, almost all the way to here. And then just make sure you blend it well. Going into our palette, we're going to pick up our first color, this brown here. This is the bottom corner of the palette, and it's right here. 3 up and 3 across from that bottom corner, and it's a really nice brown color. Just really pretty with a lot of sparkle to it. And the brush I'm going to be using is just a shader brush. This is a really old Lancome number 12. Pick up some of that on your brush and pat it on your lid. You want to leave the inner third of your eye pretty blank. And you're going to also take that up a little bit. Next, we're going to be going into the top of our palette here, and we're going to be taking this purple here. And it's very light kind of lavender color with a lot of peachy shimmer to it. It's absolutely gorgeous on its own. We're just going to be taking a really small detail brush. This is kind of a no-name one that I have from Coastal Scents. Place that color on the inner third of your lid that we left blank. And pull it up a tiny bit more past your crease so that it's about even with that brown. And just make sure that you get a smooth little transition. I like to kind of pat back and forth a little. That looks good. And you want it to be even with the other eye. Sometimes I get carried away and one goes really far. This one looks a little further over than this eye, so I'm going to go back in with the brown. And just place a little bit more brown. There we go. And go back in with this brush and blend a little better. Perfect! Next, we're going to be using the darkest color in the palette, and it's going to be this color here. Hopefully you can see that based on where the other colors are. But this dark color here, it's a like gunmetal color, and then it has a lot of like gold and green shimmer to it. And you're going to be picking that up on a domed brush like this. This is, again, a no-name one from Coastal Scents. But any brush with a similar shape, because we want to get it right into our eye socket. Okay, placing that directly in the crease. We want to get some depth here. There we go. So you see how I'm kind of just pressing it on and into the crease. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that first brown we used, the one that's all over our lid, on a brush that's just a good fluffy blending brush. This one is by e.l.f. It's their professional eye blending brush, and it's one of my absolute favorite blenders. It's only $1. So dabbing that into our brown, we're going to go over where we just put down the darkest shade and kind of work it up. And blending that out and into our matte highlight. We just want it to be really smooth, no transition lines. Now I'm going to take my NYX pencil, my jumbo pencil in milk. Now I'm going to take my NYX jumbo eye pencil in milk. Putting that right on the inner corner. And I don't like to blend it out, I just like to kind of soften the edges a little with my finger, and I find that my finger really works the best for that. Okay, now we're going to be going into our inner corner highlight, which is up on the top of the palette. It's this color here. And hopefully my camera will pick this up a little, but it is one of the few colors in this palette that isn't a serious metallic shade. It does have shine to it when you put it on the eye, but it looks fairly matte in pan with just a really nice sheen to it. So we're going to be using our same brush that we used to apply our purple, and I just kind of will wipe it off, and then we'll just dab it in here. Okay, so working that right over where we put NYX. And just blending it out a little. Okay, this is a step where I like to apply my eyeliner now. I'm going to be using a eyeliner by L'Oreal, and it's kind of one of those twist-up ones that they have. There you go. This is their Infallible 16-hour Never Fail eyeliner, I think is what it's called, and this is just a carbon black one. It's my absolute favorite eyeliner from the drugstore. I'm just going to place it on the outer corner. I can't really talk while I do this, but I will stop and explain it. So you can see I really only placed it on the outer third of my lid. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom. Then we're going to bring that up kind of to meet the other one. And just kind of create a little bit of a triangle. It doesn't have to be an exaggerated wing, but it's just kind of a rough layout of where our eyeliner will be. Hopefully you can kind of see that. I'm going to just be taking a matte black shade. This actually has a little gold shimmer, but it doesn't really show on the eye. This is a really, really old CoverGirl one called Midnight Jazz that I own. But any kind of a matte shade, you could also just use that deepest shade we had in our palette. But I just prefer to do this with a matte because I feel that I get less fallout with a matte. And I'm going to be using a really tiny detail brush. And unfortunately, again, this is just a no-name one from Coastal Scents. But it's like the tiniest brush that they have on their website, and like, let me just show you in comparison to the size of my finger how like itty bitty this brush is. It's so cute, but it works so great for this. So pick up some of that black on this brush, and you're just gonna kind of dab that over where you put your liner, and we're gonna kind of smudge out that liner. And this is where we're going to create a little more of a wing. Okay, hopefully you can kind of see this. But all I really do is dab that over and then just kind of draw it out a tiny, tiny bit. Not much, just something to kind of shape my eyes a little bit more. And then we also smoke that out. One of the other great things this will do is it will also really help to keep our liner in place by putting a powder over it. It won't run much, or at all in my case. Going back into our palette one more time, I'm going to be moving over here. I'm on the 3rd row, up from where the very bottom is, and then over to this purple here. It's one of the brighter purples in the palette. And I'm just going to use this to line my lower line. And again, I'm just going to use the same brush. This is such a good brush. I can do so much with it. We're just dabbing it on to create a little bit more interest here. And I like to kind of work it into my liner and use it to smoke out my liner even more. That looks good. Last in our palette, we're going to go up to the top again. This is the one we used on our inner corner. And right next to it, this color here has just got a little more shine to it. Ooh, our power just flickered. Sorry, but this color here I'm going to use for a little bit more of a brow highlight. And I'm just going to be taking it on this really short kind of shader brush. This is by Sephora. It's their smudge number 14. Grabbing a tiny bit of that on my brush now, we're going to take it just under our brow on this part here, on the highest point of our brow. Just right there to add a little bit more interest and shimmer to the look without putting a completely shiny highlight. So that's it. I'm going to line my waterline now and add mascara to my top and bottom lashes, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so that's how you do the look. So easy. I promise. It was so easy. All you need really is this palette, your 88 Metal Mania, and my one matte highlight color, and mine was a Wet n Wild one, $1.99, that brulee color from Wet n Wild, so I feel like you can't go wrong there. Then on my cheeks, I have an e.l.f. blush. This is one that I feel is underrated. A lot of people don't talk about it. It's called Berry Mary. And you can watch my e.l.f. blush review. If you have any other questions about it, please ask. But this is a great blush by e.l.f. It's a really deep berry color with some shimmer. Then on my lips, I have a Wet n Wild lipstick in the color 902C, which is, so if you have a darker skin tone, this would be a great nude lipstick for you. And then over it, I put a gloss. This is by Flirt, and I've seen Flirt at Kohl's. That's where I got mine. I'm not sure where else you can buy it. I'm sure you could find it online. And this is the color 11 called Cherries Jubilee. It smells so much like cherries. I just put on a tiny bit. You can really build this up and make it look really red on your lips. But I just put a tiny bit to give this almost a more orangey tint was what I was going for. So that's it for the look. It was so easy to do. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to rate, subscribe, and comment below. I love reading your guys' comments, and I definitely would like to do as many requests as I can. So if you guys have any other requests, please shoot them to me in a message or down below in the comments. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.